There's a moment in everyone's life when everything shifts. For me, that moment wasn't a single thunderclap of realization. It was a series of quiet steps, long nights, and small victories that eventually led to one big transformation. The day I officially became an engineer. The seed of curiosity. I didn't grow up knowing I'd be an engineer. In fact, I wasn't even sure what that meant when I was a kid. I just knew I was endlessly curious. I wanted to know how the fan worked, why the old radio made a buzzing noise when you moved it, or why the streetlights turned on exactly when it got dark. While other kids played cricket outside, I was the one in the corner with a screwdriver, dismantling an old remote. My parents didn't quite understand it, but they never stopped me. In fact, my father once said, "You've got an engineer's hands," after I fixed the broken table fan by jamming a plastic spoon as a support. He laughed. I didn't. That comment stayed with me. The struggle to become fast forward to college entrance season. That was when things got real. Coming from a middle-class family, the pressure to make it was always in the air, unspoken, but constant. My parents had sacrificed more than I ever realized at the time. Every rupee saved went toward books, extra classes, or a better tuition teacher. The engineering entrance exam was my mountain to climb. I still remember the results day. My hands were shaking as I entered my roll number. When the score popped up, I screamed so loudly my neighbor thought someone had broken in. I got into a decent college, not IIT, but good enough. And for me it was everything. But the real struggle began after admission. Engineering wasn't just a course, and it was a test of endurance. Long lectures, impossible assignments, group projects where no one did anything, and of course the notorious backlogs. I tasted failure for the first time when I failed a subject in my second semester. I thought the world was ending. But it wasn't. In fact, that moment taught me more than any lecture. It taught me how to stand back up. Breaking point and breakthrough. There was one night, I still remember it, when I almost gave up. It was around 3 a.m. I was studying for a digital electronics exam surrounded by coffee cups and half-torn notes. My laptop crashed. I lost the last 3 hours of work. I slammed it shut, pushed everything off my desk, and just sat there defeated. That's when my roommate, who barely said a word otherwise, got up, handed me a glass of water, and said, "Don't quit now. You've come too far to stop." That one sentence reignited something in me. From then on, I stopped trying to just survive engineering. I started embracing it. I took part in college fests, joined a robotics club, and even led a team that built a small drone prototype for our final project. That was the first time I felt truly alive. Not because I succeeded, but because I was finally doing something I loved. Graduation and the real world graduating felt like the end of an era, but it wasn't the happily ever after I had imagined. The job market was brutal. I sat for over 15 interviews, rejected in 14. The 15th one, though, that was the one that mattered. It was a mid-sized tech company that didn't care much about CGPA, but asked me to build a quick project, on the spot. I did. They liked it. I got in. My first paycheck. It wasn't huge, but when I held it in my hands, I thought of my parents, my younger self, that broken fan, and the 3 a.m. breakdown. It wasn't just a salary. It was proof that I had made it. Life after engineering, becoming an engineer, didn't just give me a job. It changed me. I stopped fearing problems and started solving them. I began to see the world as a system of interconnected parts, and I started looking for ways to optimize everything, from code to communication. My parents, once unsure of what I was doing with wires and motherboards, now proudly introduced me to relatives as our engineer beta. I mentored juniors, gave talks in colleges, and even helped a cousin fix his laptop. A full circle moment. But the biggest change wasn't external. I became more confident, more resilient, and more curious than ever. Engineering taught me that it's okay to fail, as long as you try again. That hard work doesn't always pay off immediately, but it builds character. And that sometimes, the things that challenge you the most are the ones that define you. Today, as I sit here writing this, I'm not just an engineer by degree. I'm an engineer in spirit. My life didn't change in one grand gesture. It changed slowly, through sleepless nights, hard-earned victories, and countless small decisions. And while the road ahead is still uncertain, one thing is clear. The day I became an engineer was the day I truly began to understand who I am and who I could become. Because once you learn how to build things, you start believing you can build your own future too.